Hi, welcome to Gary's Hobby Studio. In this video, I am going to go over the Anycubic Wash Cure Station 3 Plus. Didn't see too many review videos on it, and I'm going to show you some footage of me using it. As a matter of fact, I got a print I got to start using anyways, for cleaning. So, the Wash Cure 3 Station is a much larger version of the original, Wash and Cure that they came out with. It definitely holds more. I went by its recommendations of the size, and it was supposed to be 2 gallons. It's actually 3 gallons it holds because it holds 12,000 milliliters. I put 4 bottles of 91 isopropyl alcohol in it, and those 4 bottles came up to roughly the 8,000 milliliter mark. It also, besides the fact it holds 3 gallons, it has adjustable rods. I haven't used them yet. So what you could do is if you had a whole bunch of minis that are stuck to the build plate on a resin 3D printer, you could actually put these rods in, and there's certain spaces. And for mine, considering mine's the Mono X and not like anything larger, I'd probably have to put it on the inner ones on the inside of the handle. I don't have a picture of it, but I'll definitely, you'll see it whenever I put the videos over top of this. And what happens there is that way you could just hang the basket, then you'd have to pour enough isopropyl alcohol for it to come up high enough to cover everything so it'll rinse off all the resin. I haven't tried that yet, but I'm planning on trying that when I start doing multiples. Like right now, I'm just kind of doing one, and like in the case of Fotis Mint's bus, like, I did 2 of the armor. One I've got primed, ready to paint. I wanted to print another one because I thought maybe I didn't print the biggest size, and but it was the same size, so that was my fault there. But when I start doing multiple minis, I want to possibly hang that on there and just see how well that'll work. I want to say it should work really good because, like I said, if you put it on the special little hook mounts, there's, I think, 1 or 2 on the outside of the handle and 1 or 2 on the inside, which should be for, I don't know how small of a build plate. I haven't used my Photon, the original Photon, in like quite some time, and looking online doesn't look like I can get parts for it. Not like I need parts for it. My biggest problem is I can't get the FEP sheet tension right. No matter how many videos I've looked at it, I can never get it right. That's why I've got 2 vats for the Mono X, one that actually works and one that kind of like half works and the other half doesn't. But another feature it has is, besides having a row of LEDs to cure with, it also has a kind of a bendable light. And the nice thing about it is that you can use it to hit maybe some shadow areas, or maybe if you want to hit whatever from the top, so that, because, and if anybody's 3D printed, you know how some of the models, they're not perfectly straight up and down, or they're not leaning the right way to, as they come around, they would get hit when they pass by the standing tower. So they added this telescoping, bendable, posable light, which, here it is right here. And as you can see, you can just bend it any which way you want. And this way you can get it at the right angle that you need it to hit wherever you want it to hit. I've used it a couple of times on some things, like sometimes on the bus I'll have it up like this so that way it'll hit the top of them. I think one of them I had it kind of like this to hit kind of towards the bottom the way it was. Uh, it has a USB plug-in, which is really nice. I don't. I know there was no firmware updates when I got this, just because you know how I am. If you've seen any of my other videos, I don't know if that's how you would update the firmware on this thing. So I'm not going to say yes, definitely that's what it is. But so far everything works. For the washing section, when you're washing, it'll spin one way for so long, and then it'll stop. I think it spins for like 2 minutes or so. Then it'll actually reverse directions. It'll slow down and then go the opposite way, which is great because this way it'll swirl it one way, swirl it the other way, and depending upon the size figures that I'm doing or the size pieces that I'm doing, sometimes I'll up it from the normal 3-minute wash to say 10 or more minutes, depending upon how big it is. If it's a really big one, I'd probably go 10, 15 for wash. If they're small, probably go anywhere 3 to 5. Typically, it works really good. The And as far as the curing goes, it defaults to 3 minutes, and I just leave it at that. I don't do any more than 3 minutes. That's more than enough to hit it. When I first started doing this, I was doing like 5-10 minutes. Excuse me. And when I was watching Uncle Jesse's videos on resin 3D printing, he's like, "Yeah, you shouldn't do it no more." Maybe I think he might have said, this is my memory here, guys. You've seen it in other videos. I think he said maybe no more than 5 minutes, but I typically do 3. Works out really well. So as far as the wash and cure goes, I think it's a really awesome machine. It was on sale. I don't know if it's still on sale because I know their Christmas sale. This thing was like it was either 159 or 169. I can't remember which. I want to say it was 169. And I decided, you know what? That's actually really decent enough price. And when I started this a long time ago, I mean, my curing station was this right here. It's basically a paper mache box that I got at Pat Catan's before they went out of business. And I actually got 3 boxes. I have no idea. Probably the other 2 are in my cabinet over here. And what I did was I bought this cheap, well, it might have been like $20, light from Amazon. That's 405 nanometers. And I took that and I bought some reflective material. Sorry if I'm blinding you guys, don't mean to do it. Got this reflective material, put some on the lid. Bought one of these little El Cheapy turntables for so many bucks, and it's powered by the light. And I don't know how well you can tell, but the light is actually making it turn. Maybe. Okay, make a liar out of me. But when the UV, my biggest thing when I did this was I was afraid the UV light was not going to cause it to turn, but it does, because every time I open it up after when I was still using this, it actually turns, and it still turns after the light's off. So it actually works. And then I put, and I'm trying not to blind you guys again, but if you can see, like I put that reflective paper on all the sides of the box. So what that does is that when the light from this piece hits down, and it does fan out at probably, without actually really figuring it out, probably about a 45-degree all the way around. It hits the sides, bounces around, so it kind of then gets it from all sides. And plus, I also have it turning too, so it helps with the shadows and stuff like that. And it did really good, and I was doing a lot smaller stuff. Well, now that I'm doing, obviously, bigger pieces, and at some point I'm going to do even bigger ones, that's either going to take up the whole build plate, or if I ever get a new, I'd love to get the M3 Max. That thing looks awesome, and it's like, I did Immortan Joe, I think that's how it's pronounced, from the Mad Max Fury Road movie. And I had to go with the smaller one because it wouldn't fit on the build plate on that, because the 100% one was like huge. I could have scaled it, but it's like they already had the smaller one, so I was fine with it. but I want to do that in the bigger size, and I can't do it on that because it goes over the build plate, so I'd like to get a bigger one. And that's where this would come in, because I think this would actually work with that bigger one without getting the, I think it's the Wash and Cure Max or whatever it's called, their biggest one. And that there, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I saw videos on that. I'm not a big fan of it, and I'm really not. I don't like the way it works. Um I do like the way this one works better than that one. So I will probably just keep using this till they come up with maybe a different one. Because the way it works in the videos, and I'm sure you could, search for it on YouTube, it doesn't it doesn't soak like this one. It sprays it onto it. And I'm not a big fan of that. I like the submerging. I like the swirling. Because I know when I was doing it before, this is my first container that I ever used to do 3D printing. Uh, this here, I would pop it off. And if anybody's starting into 3D printing and you get one of the smaller printers that are not that big, I highly recommend getting one of these pickle jar containers, because the nice thing about it is that not only will it hold a decent amount, and like I said, if you're doing small tabletop figures, like, because I know this one may fit in there, maybe. But I know the like 75 millimeter and down scale will definitely fit in this. It has a basket right here. Sorry, don't know why I was trying to say bucket. And you could pick it up, put your stuff in, and then just gently lower it back down, which is great. Plus, not only that, if you want to do any kind of agitation, you could pick it up, bounce it up and down, and twist it at the same time. For start, if you want me to do a starter video, what I would feel would be a starter video for 3D printing, let me know in the comments down below. But this is what I started with, the items I just showed you, and because I've been doing bigger and bigger ones, I've had to change things, and I bought a couple of larger, like, square, containers for cereal, and those would work. I mean, nothing wrong with that. But I got to a point, and like I said, with the sale that this was, I was like, I've been putting it off, and I think it's time to do it. So the nice thing about the the curing part of it, and again, when I put the clips on, I'm only going to put like a short clip on it. But there's also posts for these. Now, the nice thing is you can have just one sit on there, and it'll, slowly turn it around so it'll hit the all the way around from the UV light. You can have this pointing down on top of it as it's turning, so that, yeah, like I said, any shadows anywhere that you think where it might not get hit by the UV light, you can do that. But say you have a bunch of minis and one kind of taller, well, there's posts that can be installed on this, and you could stack these. Now, I haven't done that yet because, again, I haven't had a lot of miniatures that I printed at one time and would need something like that. At some point, that may happen, but right now, no. But this way, you could stack it like this, so then you could put like your shorter miniatures underneath, and then on this, you could put any of the taller ones and whatever that would fit within the height of this. And then with this, again, kind of helps with that. So all in all, I think this is a better wash and cure station than the, like, if you have the wash and cure or wash and cure 2, those are good. I mean, I kind of saw them, but I just was like, I don't feel like I didn't feel like spending it. And like I said, at the Wash and Cure and Wash and Cure 2, I was kind of like, no, this has been working for me. Excuse me again. Medication I take. Um, but those two were fine, but they were a tad bit expensive. And at the time I was doing things, I just didn't see the need to spend the money. Now, like I said, I'm doing busts, I'm doing, all kinds of other stuff. And so this was actually attractive. The price was attractive, and it's also quite a few years later, too, that basically I looked at it like, you know what? It's definitely going to be a worthwhile investment for me to do that. So, with that said, uh, like I said, I give this thing 5 stars. I have not run into any problems with it so far. I definitely think it's well worth the money. If it's still on sale on Anycubic site, if they still have their sale of, and they might be calling the sale something else. If you have the money and you're looking for something like this, definitely get it. If again you're starting out, if you look around, there's all kinds of ways to do it cheaply to start with, and I don't blame anybody for that because I'm the same way. But once you get to a point, then you have to start going, okay, do I want to keep doing it this way that takes up a little more time, or do I want to do it this way, which seems like it'll speed things up and I can get moving on things better. So, as I always like to say, have a good day, guys. Take care and talk to you later.